So we're only a week away from the Las Vegas Raiders taking on one of the most detestable teams in the NFL, the New England Patriots, and their offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. I can't even say his name without wanting to throw up in my mouth, but it is what it is. Guys, in this video, we're going to break down the key points that could lead to the successful victory of our beloved Raiders in Gillette Stadium. So let's break it down. Guys, if you're brand new to the channel and you love the silver and black, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the bell notification, and do me a huge favor because I put a lot of work into these videos just for you guys. Please smash that like button and let's tell the YouTube algorithm that the Raider Nation is the best nation in the entire football world. Let's talk about the Raiders and what I see are the key points to success over the New England Patriots. Number one is obviously going to be that offensive coordinator of the Patriots is one Josh McDaniels, and Josh McDaniels was the former head coach and basically de facto OC of the Raiders for a year and a half. And under him worked one defensive coordinator in Patrick Graham, who is still the defensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders today, which means Patrick Graham has an inside knowledge of how offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels likes to run things and what his tendencies are. This is a big bonus for the Raiders because you could say that he also has an inside knowledge on Patrick Graham and how he likes to run his defense, except that the Raiders now have Pete Carroll, a defensive-minded head coach, who is going to throw a bunch of wrinkles into Patrick Graham's defense, stuff that offensive coordinator over there in the Patriots has not seen before. And so advantage number one goes to the Raiders due to the fact that we should be able to call out the plays that Josh McDaniels is going to run with his young quarterback and his young offense before they even know what they're doing, thanks to Patrick Graham having that inside track. So that's number one key to success, which is Patrick Graham calling an A-plus defensive scheme for this game. And if he does so, I expect the Raiders to pull out an easy victory here. Now, the next thing, obviously, is head coach talent. We have Pete Carroll. Again, Pete Carroll. Again, Pete Carroll. Do I need to say it anymore? The dude's a Super Bowl champion. He is a college national champion. This dude just wins football. That's what he does. And all of our fears about his age, they've all been nixed, as this dude has shown that he may be 73, but he is out there just handling business. He ain't intending on going anywhere anytime soon, especially in old folks' home. So Pete Carroll, I think, listen, Vrabel, great dude. He is going to be a good head coach in my opinion. But raw experience as a head coach, I think it's just got to go over to Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is one of those guys that can get up and fire up his entire team. He is a culture builder. So again, Pete Carroll brings his A game. Again, we walk away with an easy victory. Now, let's take it on down to the quarterback situation. But before we do that, I do want to say thank you to Box House for being a big-time sponsor of the Raider D podcast because they are such a great company. We are so happy to have them as a sponsor of the channel. Guys, if you want a small, tiny home delivered to your house with all the modern amenities, without all the giant price tag that some of these tiny house companies are charging, basically you could build a big house for the same price of what you're paying for a tiny house, then you need to go over to Box House because they got the best prices in the nation, best customer service, and customer satisfaction is guaranteed. Box House is your number one source for ADUs, additional dwelling units, mother-in-law suites, or just putting a tiny home on some property and living small. Give him a call. Kevin Ross is he's the owner over there, and he is an A-plus dude, proud sponsor of the Raider D podcast. Thank you to Box House for sponsoring this content. Now, let's talk about the quarterback situation. You've got a young Drake May. He was drafted in the first round, and he had a pretty good rookie season. Wasn't bad at all. He lived up to his expectations. He actually surpassed his expectations. However, he's going in with a new offensive coordinator this year, a new head coach this year, and a whole bunch of new faces around him, and that's got to be a little bit jarring for a guy going into his second year, especially being a quarterback in the system of Josh McDaniels, which is extraordinarily demanding. And if you don't do it his way, he is going to make you feel some kind of way about yourself. And you have to have just the thickest leather skin to deal with a guy like Josh McDaniels. So, is Drake May going to live up to those expectations? Is he going to play exactly the way that, you know, Josh McDaniels wants him to play? Is he going to crush under that kind of pressure? We don't know yet, but it's going to be interesting to see. Contrast that with the Raiders. They have Geno Smith, who is a proven starting level quarterback, a great game manager who can throw the ball deep, and he's not going to make a ton of mistakes. Now, that being said, he is going to throw some interceptions here and there. It's just a part of the nature of the way that he plays football. But more times than not, he's going to make the right decision, and he brings that veteran level leadership to that offense, especially out there on the field in a big opening season game. So I think the edge here goes to Geno Smith over Drake May. And if he goes and plays a great game like we know that he can, again, the Raiders walk away with a victory here. Let's talk about the rushing offense. The Raiders went out and spent the number 6 pick on one of the best, if not the best, running back to come out of college in the past 20 plus years in Ashton Jeanty. Now, in the preseason, we didn't get to see a whole lot of him, but what we did see is his ability to run over players at the NFL level. And that was the big question. Can he do what he did at Boise State against top-tier talent in the NFL? And I think the answer is yes. At least that's what we got to see in a small sampling size in the preseason. So, with that being said, you're now contrasting that with what the Patriots have, which is unproven running backs and not a great rushing attack. So, will the Patriots be able to run the ball against this defensive line of the Raiders and the new linebackers, for which we specifically went out and got guys who are really good at stopping the run? I don't think so, and that's why I think that the Raiders pull out the victory here when it comes to rushing yards. I do believe that the Raiders will have over 100 rushing yards in this game, Ashton Jeanty being the main bulwark of those yards, and at least getting one regular season rushing touchdown with him, versus I don't think that the Patriots are going to be able to put up over 80 yards against this Raiders defensive line, which is very effective against the run, and the linebacking core that we went out and got to stuff the run. So I think the Raiders edge them out here. Wide receivers. Again, the Raiders, I think, have an edge here because we have Jacoby Myers, who is basically one of the best hands-on, underrated wide receivers in the NFL. You have a rookie who has really come on in Dante Thornton Jr., who can spread the field. You have Trey Tucker now going into his 3rd year, so he has some experience as well, and he's really started to get his timing down really good with Geno Smith. And then, obviously, I know he's not a wide receiver. He's a tight end, but he plays like a wide receiver in Brock Bowers, who is the most elite tight end in the NFL, in my opinion, bar none, above everybody else. He stands heads and shoulders against the Patriots wide receiver corps. Now, the Patriots did go out and sign Stephon Diggs to try and help out Drake May. He's a veteran wide receiver. He's a very good hands receiver. He's a very good route runner, but he can be a problem in the locker room as well. He has some of those character issues is what's been reported on. And so are him and Drake May, a young quarterback, going to get along? Or is he going to become a prima donna, which is then going to cause problems between him and the young quarterback? Obviously, I'm hoping that that is the case so that they don't hook up a whole bunch in this game. Outside of that, I just don't see how the Patriots are going to match up to our wide receiver core. And so I think, again, the edge goes to the Raiders here. Now let's talk defensive line. We have Max Crosby and Malcolm Koonce hooking back up, reminiscent of 2 years ago where the second half of the season with Antonio Pierce taking over as head coach, Malcolm Koonce came out into his own, getting 8 sacks, whole bunch of quarterback pressures, tackles for loss, etc., and he proved to be pretty effective against the run as well. Now you're going to tier him back up with Malcolm Koonce, or tier him back up with Max Crosby, the two of them both being 100% healthy. Excited to see the pass rush and can Drake May really handle the immense amount of pressure that he's going to be under. Remember that Adam Butler is also very effective at getting to the quarterback as a defensive tackle, and Tyree Wilson is going to line up predominantly as a defensive tackle, and he has shown a lot of progress in the preseason. If that translates over into this game and he can get to the quarterback with those giant long arms that he has, Drake May is going to be in a lot of trouble and might throw 3 or 4 picks just due to the pressure alone. Hopefully, the Raiders walk away with at least 3 sacks on this game. I think defensive line, the Raiders clearly have the edge here, and it is just night and day difference. I don't think Geno Smith will be anywhere near as under as much pressure as Drake May will be in this game. So again, scorecard goes over to the Raiders for that fact that the Raiders just simply have a much better defensive line. In the secondary, it is much better, I think, going to be over along the lines of the Patriots right now. Our secondary is very unproven. On paper, we look like we're going to be okay, but we have not seen that translated into a regular season game yet. So I'm not 100% confident in our secondary. I'll give that over to the Patriots, so they get 1. So out of all of those, I'm going to go ahead and say the Raiders walk away with at least a 7-point advantage in this game, even though the Patriots have home field advantage. Guys, drop your thoughts down below. Do you think the Raiders are going to walk away with an easy victory to open this up and really shock a lot of minds in the NFL today? Drop comments down below.